All right, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to talk about your pre-test for the test that you're going to be taking in class tomorrow. Now the test tomorrow is all about factoring, and there's two types of factoring. The first type of factoring is when we use the x. Now remember, to use the x, what we do is we take this number, and that's the number we put up top, and we take the middle number, and that's the number that goes on the bottom. Now when we do this, we're looking for the two numbers that are going to multiply to be negative 18 that are going to add to give us 3. Now sometimes you can think about those numbers, other times you might need to make a list. So if you make a list, remember we just take 18 and we start counting up. So 18 divided by 1 is 18. So 1 goes in 18 times. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 2 goes in 9 times. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 3 goes in 6 times. 18 divided by 4 is a decimal. It doesn't go in, so we don't need to go any further. 18 divided by 5 is 3.6. Doesn't go in. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that means 6 goes in 3 times. Now if you notice, our list flip-flops, so that's our indicator that we get to stop. We don't have to go any further. Our list is complete. So we have 3 possibilities. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, or 3 and 6. I'm going to try 3 and 6. Now remember, since the top number is negative, you got to play around with your signs to make this work. So I'm going to start by just putting the negative on the 3. Well, negative 3 times 6 equals negative 18, and negative 3 plus 6 is equal to a positive 3. So we got it. We found the two numbers that work, which is how we know we're done. So what we did is we said, okay, draw nice big parentheses, put an x here and an x there, and we're going to say minus 3. And since this is a positive 6, we're going to say plus 6. And we're done. Right? So that's the main kind of factoring that we're going to do. Let's look at another one. So at another problem, you'll make your x. We're going to put a positive 8 up top, and then positive 6 is going to go on the bottom. We need two numbers that multiply to give us 8 that add to give us 6. Hopefully, without too much work, you can produce positive 4 and a positive 2. Positive 4 times positive 2 equals positive 8. Positive 4 plus positive 2 equals positive 6. So my answer is going to be x plus 4 and x plus 2. Nice job. Let's do another one. Here's another one. You're going to draw your x. Up top, you're going to have your positive 3, and you're going to get minus 4 down on the bottom. We need two numbers that multiply to give us a positive 3 that add to give us a negative 4. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, but the only numbers that multiply to give us 3 are 1 and 3. Now, right now, 1 times 3 equals positive 3, but 1 plus 3 doesn't equal negative 4. So that's where we got to put our thinking caps on and think to ourselves, well, if this was a negative 1 and a negative 3, that would equal a positive 3. And then negative 1 plus negative 3 would equal a negative 4. So once you find the numbers that work, then remember, you just need to do two parentheses, put x in the first slot, minus 1, minus 3, and you're done. Nice job. Let's look at number 4. For problem number 4, you're going to make your x. You're going to put negative 6 up at the top. Now, if you notice, there's no number in front of the x, so we're going to put a 1 there. And it's a positive 1. We need two numbers that multiply to give us negative 6 that add to give us a positive 1. How about 3 and negative 2? 3 times negative 2 equals negative 6. 3 plus negative 2 equals a positive 1. Once you get those numbers, draw your parentheses, put x in the first slot. This is a positive 3, so we're going to say plus 3, and then minus 2. Nice job, guys. So this is the one kind of factoring that you're going to need to do on your test tomorrow. The other kind of factoring you're going to have to do is when they say to factor out the greatest common factor or just a common factor. Anytime you see that common factor word, they're telling you to do it that way. Now remember, this is what we've been practicing this week. It's what's the biggest number that goes into 10 and 5. And well, 5 does. Now, in this situation, we can also pull out x's because both of the terms have an x. But you can only pull out as many as the one that has the smallest. The first one has 6 and the second one has 4, so we're going to be able to pull out 4 x's since 4 is smaller than 6. Now what we do is we take 10 divided by 5, that gives us a positive 2. This one started out with 6 x's and we lost 4 of them, so we are going to have 2 x's left. Then we go back and we say, okay, let's do the other term. 15 divided by 5 is going to give us a positive 3, so we're going to say plus 3. And in this one, we started out with 4, and then we lost 4, so we don't have any left. So our final answer will be this. Nice job. Let's do another one. Number 6. What's the biggest number that divides into 15 and 12? Well, 3 does. So I'm going to be able to divide out 3. Now if you notice, this one has 3 x's, but the other one doesn't have any. Since the other one doesn't have any, we can't pull out any x's. So we're only going to be able to divide out the 3. Negative 15 divided by 3 would leave us with a negative 5. This one started out with 3 x's. Since we didn't lose any, we still have 3 x's sitting there. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we're going to have a positive 4, and we are done. Let's go to the next problem. Looking over here at problem number 7. What's the biggest number that goes into 14, 6, and 4? Well, 2 goes into each of those, and that's the biggest number, so we're going to be able to divide out a 2. Now, if you notice, each of these terms has an x. So we're going to be able to take out as many as the one that has the fewest. This one had 3, this one had 2, this one has 1, so we can pull out 1x. Now, if we go to our calculator, 14 divided by 2 is 7. This one started out with 3 x's and we lost 1, so we're going to have 2 left. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and since it's positive, we're going to say plus 3. We started out with 2 x's and we lost 1, so we have 1 left. Negative 4 divided by 2 would be a minus 2. We started with 1, we lost 1, so we don't have any left, which means this will be our final answer. Last problem, here it is. What number goes into 12, 10, and 6? I think the biggest one is 2. Now, this one has a p, this one has a p, this one does not. So we can't take out any p's. We can only divide out the 2. 12 divided by 2 will be 6. And we'll be left with 4 p's since we didn't lose any. Negative 10 divided by 2 will be a negative 5. And we'll be left with 1 p because we didn't lose any. 6 divided by 2 is a positive 3, so it'll be plus 3, and we will be done. Thank you guys so much for watching the full video. Remember, you have your test on this stuff tomorrow, and there's a pre-test that is in your Schoology folder for your homework today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.